Over. I am the Martian ambassador.
Des Moines and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Mac's World Live. Mac's World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Mac's World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Mac's World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
All right, 7 minutes after 3 o'clock on this, the 19th day of October in the Lord's year 2015. Welcome. It is a day like any other day, except this day happens to be a little different. Today we premiere the all-new Mac's World Live. Yes, you've heard that before. That was the moniker that I used for, 12, 13 years. We took a break from that and did The View from a Pew, and now we're back to Mac's World Live. You can find us online at maxworldlive.com. And that'll hook you up to my personal page. And you can also watch, listen, chat, everything you've been doing there on the website. We are going to be talking with the lovely Jenn Bowman today. She has a story to tell because this is Recovery Monday, Restoring Hope, as usual. Lila Stafford is here from Powell CDC. Frank the Verse Thomas is here. And, of course, we have Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, watching the chat. What are you doing?
Trying to get to the volume.
Well, why didn't you do that before we started?
Good question.
All right, so we thank you for being here. Usually what we're going to do is we're going to have different guests throughout the 2-hour program. We're also going to do a little bit more on local news and things that are happening in your community, and I need you to be my eyes and my ears in your community. If no matter where you live across Central Iowa, if you're within the sound of my voice, I want to know when something weird, something out of place, something just not so right happens in your neighborhood or happens in your community. You may want to remain anonymous, and you will be allowed that pleasure. I will need to know who you are. I don't let just somebody come on the radio and say, well, I'm not going to tell you who I am, but Bob up at the Snake Bar built... I'm not going to do that. But if I know who you are and I've talked to you, I don't need to reveal that on the air because I'll trust you. So that's the way we're going to start, and we're going to start it right away by introducing you to Jenn Bowman. Jenn, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Nice to hear from you. You have a great voice, by the way.
Thank you.
You have been drug-free and alcohol-free for, not you, just drugs?
Just drugs.
Okay, so do you still drink?
Very socially.
Okay. That's the way I used to answer too.
I was just thinking when you said very socially, I thought that was my description.
Yeah, but drugs were your issues.
Yes,
and you've been drug free for 1 year and 2 months.
Correct.
So let's start with where you're from. Where's home?
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Really?
Yes.
And when did you? So you were born in Sioux Falls.
Yes.
How long did you live there?
Till I graduated high school. I moved here right after the flood of 93.
Oh, wow. Okay. So as you were growing up in Sioux Falls, were there a lot of people around you using drugs and alcohol?
In my high school years, there were. My friends were.
All right. And did you use drugs back then too?
No.
Just alcohol?
I drank in high school, yes.
Yeah, but you never saw that as a problem?
No, not really. It was on the weekends, parties, things like that. But it never interfered with my studies. It never interfered with my grades. So I never saw it as a problem.
Okay. And would anybody else have seen it as a problem?
Nobody called me out on it.
Good. Okay. So when was all right, so tell me the drugs you start out with, what you started using and what you ended up using.
Methamphetamines.
The whole time? Everything? That's it?
That's it.
Wow. Okay. So when was the first time did you smoke it?
Yes.
When was the first time you smoked meth?
In 94.
Were you still in school at the time?
I was in Box Elder Job Corps.
You were in what?
Or not Box Elder Job Corps, I'm sorry, Denison Job Corps.
She was living in Denison, Iowa.
Okay.
And she was in Job Corps.
Yes.
Okay. So were you taking meth so you could get a lot of work done? Or why were you taking it?
It was something new to me.
Mm-hmm. You liked the high? Or not even like that? You just...
just something I wanted just to try it, and I became hooked. I quit going to Denison. I moved to Panora, Iowa, and I was hooked on meth then for about 6 months, and I overdosed.
Whoa.
And I ended up at the Guthrie Center Hospital.
Whoa, so it's a wake-up call.
Yeah, when they brought the judge to my hospital bed.
Whoa.
And I was given 2 choices, jail or treatment. Mm-hmm. And I chose treatment.
Well, your teeth are nice.
That's one thing. I never did get messed up teeth.
Yeah.
So how long? So you used meth for 20 years.
No. I was clean for 10 years.
Okay.
And then I relapsed.
In 04?
In 04, and then that would lasted about a year. And then I was clean again until 2013. And I used until 2014. So I had quite a long sobriety time and had just a few relapses for a year here.
Were you working a program?
I was at first until I met somebody and I thought he was the one. And, nobody could tell me any different. I thought I was right. I was young. I was 19. And I thought I was on top of the world. And so I stopped my program.
Mm-hmm.
Did he use also? No. Okay.
No.
That's the way it goes.
Yep.
People stop working the program, and then what happens is our old thoughts start coming.
I never went back to drugs at that time, though.
Yeah.
I got into a different kind of relationship. It was an abusive relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you say abusive, you mean he
He abused me.
physically
Yes.
and emotionally?
Physically, emotionally, and verbally.
Okay. And were you married?
No.
How long were you together?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. And when was the first time he physically abused you? How many?
6 months into our relationship.
6 months. Okay. So here's the tough question, and you've been asked it before. Why didn't you leave then rather than wait for another 2.5 years?
I think the reason I didn't leave is because I was so used to the abuse.
You couldn't see the forest from the trees, kind of. You didn't realize how bad it really was. Is that what you're saying? Or was your self-esteem so low that you believed what he was telling you?
Yeah, my self-esteem was so low. I believe that his "I'm sorry's, it'll never happen again." He said, "I'll change," and I believed it.
Mm-hmm.
My dad abused me for years as a child, and I believed his "I'm sorry's, it'll never happen again." And so.
And your father also physically abused you, emotionally, verbally, etc.?
Yes, from age 8 till I was 15.
And why did he stop at 15?
I moved out of the house.
Okay.
See, that's not unusual if it happened at home to repeat that, because whatever you didn't fix as a child, you're going to find in a partner and try to make that work. And then you think this is deep down inside, and you think it's going to heal what happened when you were a child.
Right. Everybody always told me that I would find a man just like my father.
Yeah.
And I never believed him. And
Yeah.
I ended up finding a man just like my father.
Yeah, because it's familiar, and it may not look like it from the outside at first, but then all of a sudden you're in it, and it's like, whoa.
And then when it comes down to it, where everybody can see the bruises and everything else, you find ways to cover them up.
Yeah.
And you make it the excuses. Oh, I ran into a wall, or I hit a doorknob, or, and then the excuses run out. And then you have to come to reality and be like, okay, yeah, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Did you have children with this man?
I have one child with him, yes.
Okay, Frank?
Did your financial situation play any part in you staying?
No, because at that time I was working and I could have financially afforded to take care of myself.
That's a good question, though, because I know a lot of women who stay in abusive relationships or relationships that aren't working for financial reasons only.
In the beginning, I could have financially. I should say, in the beginning, I could have financially, but I lost my job due to the fact that I had to keep making excuses why I couldn't come to work. Oh. So in the end, it did play a part, yeah.
Our guest is Jenn Bowman. She is 1 year and 2 months clean from drugs. But if I'm reading this correctly, you only used about 3 years altogether.
Yes.
You'd quit for 10, and then you'd go back, and you'd go for about a year, and then you quit for 9, 8, I guess, 5 to 13, 8, and then you used until 13 to 14, and then you got clean last year.
Yes, correct.
So did you have a drug of choice, or was it anything?
Just meth.
Oh, okay.
I heard once from somebody that once you use meth, you can't stop. Something happens and you're just not able to stop.
Yes and no. It depends on, I guess in my mind, that is a yes and no answer, but to me, it was a reality check on why I stopped the last time, and I'll never go back because it took cops coming to my door
To get you to finally stop.
to say enough was enough.
All right, we're going to take our first break here. Jenn Bowman is my guest. This is the new Max World Live, Recovery Monday, Restoring Hope. But the show is now called Max World Live, MaxWorldLive.com. New website up, personal website. And we ask that you check that out. This is brought to you, of course, by the good folks at Powell CDC. You now know someone. If you know someone who needs someone. Powell CDC, 263-2424. We're coming back live here on The Truth, 99.3.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
21 minutes after the hour on this, the 19th day of October in the Lord's year 2015. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is the all-new Max World Live here on 99.3 KTIA. If you are a new listener, maybe you found us after 98.3 went out of business or changed formats, we sure appreciate that. We are a preaching, teaching, and conservative talk radio program. The one difference between us and our primary competitor, who is also in the format, that would be 1040 WHO, is we can say the name of Jesus, and they can't. I mean, they can, but they risk being fired or losing their job because they are, quote-unquote, a secular station. If the name of Jesus bothers you, we're probably not the radio station for you. It's not going to be pounded down your throat or anything like that, but there will be times when I say the name of Jesus and I'm not using it in blasphemy or vulgar language. Now, Frank's a different story, so we'll have to see how that works. My co-host today, we've got a studio full of people. The lovely Lila Stafford, new grandma.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yep.
And what's her name?
Riley.
Riley. And where does that come from?
My daughter's head. I don't know. She just
made it up?
She just made it up.
What's her middle name?
Parker. I tried to talk her into Porter, which was my maiden name, and she said no. They wanted Parker. That doesn't have anything to do with anything either.
All right. And everything's healthy? Everything works right?
Yeah.
Mama's doing fine?
Yeah, and she was born on my mother's birthday.
That's wild.
It was cool. Yeah.
Was that her due date?
No, it was the 20th.
So she came a little early?
Yeah, 4 days early.
That's awesome. All right, and of course, Frank, the Verse Thomas here, along with Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat. 2-hour show begins today when we get the privilege of meeting Jenn Bowman for the first hour. Second hour, we'll be coming back with news and information and talk about some of the things that are going on in your world. All right, I want to introduce you to Jenn Bowman, mother of one. No?
3.
3. Okay, how old are your kids?
18, 13, and I have to think 14.
Okay. And are they proud of their mom?
They don't know everything. I have hidden a lot of things from my children.
Okay. And do you think one day you'll tell them everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Let them listen to the show. They're going to ask,
My children are in Sioux Falls, South Dakota right now.
Okay. So, yeah, but they could get on the internet and hear this.
They could.
But they're probably not, are they?
No.
Do any of them have problems with drugs or alcohol?
No. My children have other mental problems.
Okay.
My oldest daughter, she's got a learning disability. Mm-hmm. My other daughter has got ADHD.
Yeah, I've got that.
And she's got a little bit of a learning disability as well. My son is autistic and has, what do they call it, a mood disorder?
Yeah.
A mood swing disorder. And he had to be placed in a facility in Colorado.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah.
He's a little handful.
Yes, I imagine.
At 13 years old,
yeah.
He's a little hard to handle, and he's bigger than I am. So
yeah. Where in Colorado?
Devereaux Cleo Wallace, which is right outside Denver.
Never heard of it.
I hadn't either.
I used to live in Denver, huh?
But
well, it's nice that there's a place for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now he will, when he finishes that program there, he will go to McCrossen's Boys Ranch in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So he'll get to learn about horses and things like that.
Yeah, cool.
Jenn basically has never abused alcohol. In 1994,
she didn't say that.
I've never abused alcohol. He is correct.
Okay. No, she just said that she drinks
socially. I just assumed that. So from 94, you used it for a year or so.
94, I used it for 6 months.
6 months, and then you quit.
Yes.
What made you quit?
Overdose.
Okay, tell me what that means.
Did way too much in a very short period of time. and I had way too much in my system, and they had
So-
to rush me to the hospital.
What was your train of thought there? It was like, this is feeling good, and so I want more. I've gotten high, and I want to see how high.
I wanted to see how high I could get.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see what that feeling was going to be like.
That is such an addict's mindset. That if this is good, there's got to be something else that's even better.
Frank?
Now, when you was doing this methamphetamines, were you staying up for long periods of time and crossing over to the other side, as they say, hallucinating and
No hallucinating for me. I would stay up for 3 or 4 days. I could say I probably had the cleanest house on the block.
Yeah, that's why a lot of women do it. Why they take it.
And I would say one of the biggest reasons I stayed on it this last time, when I was on it in 2014, in 2015, or 2013, 2014, sorry, I lost about 70 pounds.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons I gained 50 of it back.
Yeah.
And since then, I've become diabetic.
I'm sorry.
So
Did you ever think when you were doing the meth, did you ever think about what all was in it? Or you just were thinking, I just want to lose the weight and...
I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
Hang out with friends, and just, I didn't think about what was in it. I didn't care. It was all about the high.
Yeah.
What was it about the meth high that you particularly liked?
The fact that I could stay up and do what I wanted to do. I felt like I was invincible.
Yeah, and getting thin at the same time.
Yeah.
But there's a downside to that for any listeners that are listening, I mean, that sounds great.
It sounds great, but it is
not.
the worst way to lose weight.
Yeah.
It really is.
But when you crashed, what was that like?
Oh, when I crashed, I would be out for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I would lose time. And I would miss appointments, and I would, I wouldn't even remember stuff that I had done for 3 days, the 3 days I was up. Your memory loss was gone. You wouldn't remember anything, and that's sad. And so there's things that I don't remember during that year that I used that I wish I would remember. And that's my downfall, and that's my fault.
Like with alcohol, every time someone goes, if they've quit and they go back out, they start where they left off, and then it progressively gets worse. Alcoholism is a progressive disease. Is it the same thing with meth? Does it get worse?
Yes, you have to use more and more to get high.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The longer you're on it, the more you have to use to get that high.
Is it easy to get? Was it easy for you to get?
For me, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you give me the name and phone number of your dealer, please?
No.
No. It's funny because years ago when meth started hitting Iowa with such a heavy force, I would say on my radio program, I just want to try meth. I just want to understand what there is. Dozens of people, Frank, you remember this, dozens of people would call up and just warn me, don't try it. Don't even try it.
No, don't. Because
so far I haven't.
It's the chemicals that are in it you don't want to put in your body.
All right, now let's talk about those chemicals. What are those chemicals?
About anything that's in a garage.
Yeah, anything that's in your garage.
I've heard they've made it out of Raid bug spray.
It could be.
It could
a
be
lot
anything.
of stuff that's in your garage that you would, if you looked at it and someone said, "Drink that," you go, "No."
And the problem is every time they try to stop some component in it, the meth chemists figure out something else that they can
put in
use.
it. Yeah.
Bob, you're a chemical guy. What's in meth?
Yeah, well, it's a derivative, and it's amphetamine is the one that we used to always do, and it's been derived from. We used to get it all over the counter, and
Sudafed, I think, was something that
right. And that's why you have to go through the pharmacist, because that's what they would use, and they would break it down. Used to be ammonium nitrate. They used to get ammonia, and then they changed. They have a one pot method, which is they put it in a bottle, shake it up a 2 liter, and
You remember the story about the guy that broke into Farragas out on Northeast 14th, and he spilled it in his lap trying to get it, and he burnt his business off?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. True story.
All right. So you said you were smoking this.
Yes.
So what, you take a Sudafed pill? I guess it's not important to go through.
No,
I just don't know how they do that.
You can just go on the web and they tell you.
So, Mac, when you said that you wanted to try it, why did you want to try it?
Everybody was saying that you do it once, you're hooked.
And that sounded good?
Well, no, I thought I could beat that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had tried cocaine in the late 70s, and it didn't, I mean, yeah, I got high off the cocaine, but it didn't faze me. I didn't have any problem quitting it. It was an expensive habit. For me back then, I was, 21 years old, 22 years old. And I just, it didn't faze me. At the time, I wasn't drinking either. And so I just thought, well, I want to be able to say to somebody like Jen, hey, I've been there. I've tried that. Don't do that.
I did cocaine one time, and it didn't do anything to me. Nothing. Actually, there were 4 lines, and I guess if you're polite about drugs, everyone got 1 line, but I wasn't into drugs, so I didn't know that everyone just got 1 line. So I took all 4 lines, and the guys just about died, and it was real expensive, but it did nothing to me. And years later, when I was tested for ADD, they said, have you ever tried cocaine? And it never did anything to you. And I said, yeah, and that's one of the questions they ask you.
Really?
Yeah, it had no effect on me.
Wow. All right. Well.
Yeah, and you also have to think and consider there's a psychological dependency and a physiological dependency.
Because is it a narcotic?
No, it's a stimulant. It used to be used for weight loss.
But don't they claim that sometimes just your first line of cocaine, your heart can explode?
Yeah, there have bbeen people that have died first time they tried it.
Because you can get this, it's called tachycardia, where your heart just starts beating 150 beats a minute, just out of control.
You remember your heart racing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Was that scary for you, or it was like, oh, this is going to be great?
It was scary at first when I first tried it, and then I just got used to it.
Now, doesn't the mind race too?
Oh, yes.
Mine's going almost as fast as...
It goes a million miles an hour.
It's going as fast as your heart.
Oh, yes. And sometimes you can't control your thinking, and your mind is going so fast, and you're thinking, oh, I got to do this, 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 and you're trying to prioritize everything, and you just can't do it. And so you have to train your mind to prioritize everything while you're on this drug, and it's not easy.
Was you into the scratching business?
No. I never got into that. My teeth never decayed. I never picked. I never did any of that stuff. I guess I never got that deep into it, and I got off of it before I did. I never went to treatment this last time either. When I got off of it, I was done.
All right, let's take our second break. Jenn Bowman is my guest. Many years of meth use, and then off of it for a long time, and then back on. I want to hear that first time you used it for 6 months and what made you quit until 04. So you quit almost 10 years. All right, we'll talk about that when we come back live here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC. We're coming back live on The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed right or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone and they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour on this 19th day of October in the Lord's year 2015. I'm J. Michael McCoy. It's the all-new Max World Live. I believe the websites are all up and running. If you go to maxworldlive.com, you will be switched over to macmccoy.com, which is my personal site. Well, I shouldn't say that. I just don't want more than one site. I don't want one site. It's like Facebook. I don't want a professional site and then a personal site. There's no difference between me professionally and personally. Oh, maybe that's not a good thing. Anyway, so I just put everything on one thing. That's where the shows will be. You can find all the shows there, etc.
And where is it? Where can you find them?
Mac McCoy, MacMcCoy.com.
Yeah.
Or maxworldlive.com, which is the name of the new show starting today, 2 hours long, every day from 3 to 5 p.m. And when I told my kids that I was going to be on the radio until 5 o'clock, they were the kids being the dogs. I told the dogs I wouldn't be home till like 5:30. You should have seen the look on their face. Oh, Daddy, no. But anyway, Frank's here, and Bob Montserrat is here. Ryan's here. Ron's here. And, of course, we have the new grandma, Lila Stafford, who is with Powell CDC, and that's 263-2424. Remember that you have somebody to call and help. You have somebody that can help you. You have somebody when you find out your mother or your brother or your child or your mother is involved in drug and alcohol abuse. You don't have to wonder what you're going to do. You call Powell CDC 263-2424 and they'll walk you through it. They don't trace your number and come running to your door. The little men in white coats don't show up and take you away, hee ha ha, to the funny farm where life is. But they're just there to help you. So I hope you can trust them. All right, Jenn Bowman is my guest. Been clean off meth for 1 year and 2 months. But in 1994, after 6 months worth of use, you overdosed.
Yes, I did.
What happens to somebody when they overdose on meth?
Well, they rushed me to the emergency room.
Okay, but how did somebody find you? I mean, how did they know you weren't just sleeping or passed out or something?
I was overexcited. I was way too wired.
Okay. All right. And somebody recognized that?
Yes.
All right. And called the ambulance or called the police?
They called the ambulance.
Okay. And what happened once you got into the hospital?
I I'm not even really sure what they did. I was so out of it. All I remember is they brought the judge to my hospital bed, and I was given two choices. It was either treatment or jail.
They brought a judge.
Yep. Because they had searched the apartment that I was living in, and they found drugs, and they found paraphernalia, and they were going to charge all of us that were living there. And so I was given the choice of treatment or jail.
And you chose?
I chose treatment.
All right. And then you went to where?
Des Moines General.
Okay. And how long were you there?
I did 30-day inpatient.
30-day inpatient. How was that?
It was hard at first, but then I got to working the steps, and it was okay. There was some amendments I had to make, and then I just did the steps again.
Through Celebrate Recovery.
Through Celebrate Recovery. I started the steps in January and just finished it in July of this year.
You got through all the steps in 6 months?
Yes.
Wow.
We only had 5 people in the group that finished.
Oh, okay.
So we had a very small group.
What was the difference between walking the steps back at Des Moines General and walking the steps through Celebrate Recovery?
There's 2 less steps in Celebrate Recovery for
There's
one
4
thing.
left, isn't there?
No, there's just 2, I think. But but really, you cover the same material. They just put them in the same step.
How many steps at Celebrate Recovery?
There's 12.
Oh, there is? Okay.
We have
There used to
8
be 10.
principles, but we have 12 steps.
Oh, there used to be 10.
Yeah. We have 12 steps, 8 principles.
Okay.
But I had Jesus in my life now.
And that made it easier?
Yes, because I can turn to him for everything. I can give everything to God. Every decision I make, every amend, everything I'm stressing over or worrying about or anything, I can just pray over it and then give it to God and be done with it.
When did you have this spiritual awakening with God?
I would have to say it happened around Christmas of last year.
So Christmas of 14.
Was Jesus in your life before that?
He was. I went to church every day growing up, or every Sunday growing up.
You just got to a place where you could trust him.
There was a time when I was a kid that I stopped believing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there really was a God, why wasn't he protecting me from my father? And that's what I thought back when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped believing. Mm-hmm. But I still went to church every Sunday because it was expected of me.
Yeah.
But when I turned 15 and when I was 15 and I moved out of my parents' house, I didn't go to church anymore.
Yeah.
I want to just go back to something you said, not to change the topic, but do you suffer from any panic or anxiety attacks? And how did the meth use magnify or amplify that?
It magnified it a lot. And I do suffer from depression, anxiety, agoraphobia.
So you certainly can't like that feeling when you're high on meth. That certainly amplifies that behavior, I'm sure.
No, but I took Valium.
Oh, so you're doing something to bring it down.
Yes, to counteract it.
Oh, at the same time you were doing...
Yes.
Whoa.
Isn't that what they used to call speedballing?
I
Yes?
don't know, but it...
Yes.
Jen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you take something
Pretty
to pop you
dangerous.
up.
Yeah.
And then before you started coming down from that, you take a drug to bring you down.
Mm-hmm.
And so your mind fooled you in actually thinking you were under the influence of some type of drug, and so you were safe.
So it's a barbiturate and an amphetamine at the same time.
Yes. And this last time that I was on methamphetamines, I was putting myself in a very dangerous position because I was taking an antidepressant as well as Valium, as well as a Buspar, which is another anxiety medication, and on top of the methamphetamine. I was putting my life in a very, very dangerous position. And I didn't realize how dangerous a position I was putting my life in until after I stopped using and realized that the counteracting all these medications with the methamphetamines, I could have lost my life. I could have died several times over. I could have died
So let me ask you this. Did anybody ever say that to you? You're going to die? If you don't cut this out, you're going to die? Mom, sister, brother, dad, somebody?
My parents live 4 hours away from here.
Okay.
So I could hide my drug use from my family.
Okay. What would your father have done if he had known your drug use and the level in which you were involved with?
He probably would have locked me up.
Like in a police station or something?
He would have called the cops on me and had me arrested, or he would have locked me into a psych ward.
Okay, now, this may get close to home. I apologize, but the guy's got no place to judge you because he beat you, right?
He's still my father.
Okay. I don't know. I'm a father too, and I'm sure I do hypocritical things. My kids would tell you. So I'd have a hard time looking at a man with any integrity that on one moment he's beating his daughter and emotionally abusing her, and then the next moment he thinks she's in so much trouble she deserves to go to jail.
When they're beating them, they think that they're doing the right thing. They think they're in the right.
Do they live in Sioux Falls?
Yes.
Do they have a relationship with your kids?
Yes.
You're okay with that?
My dad doesn't put his hands on my children.
Okay.
I'm the only one he ever put hands on.
Okay. All right. Well, I suppose that's good. I'm just glad you're over it. You seem as if you've begun that healing process.
I made my amends.
Okay, good. Did he make his?
He apologized when I was 30 years old.
Okay, good. All right. Last break. We come back. I want to talk about this Jesus thing at Christmas time, because Jesus has a tendency of popping up right around Christmas. Strangest thing. Mangers, donkeys, stars, rich men. I want to hear this story from Jenn live when we come back on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, an extended version of news now as we begin Max World Live on this 19th day of October in 2015. We will have more local and national news. Here's my goal, okay? I'm going to turn Frank into Kevin Cooney. Think I can teach you how to read news? Look at the camera, read news.
Yes, I could read a teleprompter.
You could?
I believe so, yeah.
Could you read off of, like, my handwriting like that? Because that's the best teleprompter you're going to get, cowboy. All right. Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, and Ron is producing. I like to call Ron Gizmo, but I don't. Ron, should I call you Gizmo on the air, or should I just stick with Ron? It's up to me.
He said call him for dinner.
I never call him late for dinner. He's a big eater. I took this guy to an all-you-can-eat buffet once, and the guy who was cooking there came up after about an hour and a half and said, "You eat no more. You eat no more. You eat too much. You go away. You too much buffet." Yeah, there you go. All right. Next hour, we're going to talk about some of the news that's going on around Iowa and America. And we'll be joined, of course, by Frank the Verse Thomas and Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat. And Jen, if you want to hang around while we talk about news, you're welcome to do that too. Jen, and you too, Lila, I'm sorry. I just know you'll go play with your new granddaughter.
No, I have to go back to work.
Oh, okay.
Till 9.
Jen Bowman is our guest. Used meth from 94 for about 6 months and then almost overdosed and almost died. Went into treatment, stayed clean for 10 years. What made you go back to it after 10 years?
My friends were using. It was peer pressure, I think.
But you only used about a year.
Yep.
What made you quit?
Everybody quit, so I quit with them.
And then you quit until 2013.
Yes.
And you started up again.
Yes.
Why?
Friends.
Now, how old were you during these times?
Well, I'm 41 now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I was 39 when I started reusing this last time.
Yeah. And what made you quit this time?
Cops showed up at my door looking for a teenager, so they said, and they found some paraphernalia sitting out in the house, and they were wanting to continue searching and everything, and they were harassing me for more, and I finally gave up some other stuff that I knew was at, and they arrested me. Only there were some problems with the arrest. They wrote the wrong court date on the ticket. They didn't let me sign my ticket. They signed it for me. So I never had to face the charges.
Okay.
Are you still running with the same people?
No.
Playmates and playgrounds.
I am now engaged to be married to a wonderful man I've been with off and on for 6 years, who has stood by my side through everything.
Good. Good for you. What can you tell me his first name?
Brad.
Brad. All right. You think it's Army Brad? No, couldn't be Army Brad.
Couldn't be. No.
All right. So tell me about this Jesus thing. Christmas of last year.
Christmas of last year, I got my aha moment.
And tell me about that.
It was, I guess I really can't explain it too much. I was sitting at home and I was tinkering around with my Christmas decorations, and I came across some Christmas gifts that I had from my parents, and it was a picture frame and a bell, and my mother collects bells, and my dad, it was a grandpa picture frame, and I was getting ready to pack them up and ship them off, and I thought, no, I just need to go home. I hadn't been home in so many years for Christmas, and I knew if I went home, it was just going to cause a fight between me and my siblings because we don't get along. And something was just in my head, just kept telling me, don't go, don't go, don't go. And I stayed, and I had the best Christmas just going to Lutheran Church of Hope. And that's where I found my family. Jesus put my family right there in front of me. It doesn't have to be blood.
Right.
Family is who you make. And Lutheran Church of Hope has become my family. And Jesus put them in my life, and he put Brad back in my life at that same moment.
Good. And
we've been back together through everything. No matter what, he stands by my side. No matter what I do through my recovery, everything.
Sounds like you're a very lucky and blessed young lady.
I am. I couldn't ask for a better guy.
What is so special about him for you?
He loves me for who I am, through the good and the bad.
And do you know somebody else that loves you that way too?
I was just going to say that.
Jesus.
Yep.
That's what God's love. That's what a father's love your Creator's love feels like.
Yep.
Unstoppable, unboundable joy.
And I now have I've met some great friends, and I met a lot of wonderful people going to Celebrate Recovery. I now get to work with a wonderful man. I get to do home repairs with him. And it's just, everything is starting to come together in my life. Things I've never had before, I finally have.
And why do you think they're here now?
Because God put them in my life.
Why didn't you have them before?
Because I wasn't walking in God's path.
That's the correct answer. Good job. Well, you are incredibly loved by your Father God and all those people who you bless to be around. And just hang on, girlfriend. Because when God gets a hold of somebody the way he's gotten a hold of you, he's going to start sending people by your side that he needs you to help them heal. Right now, you're in the healing process. But pretty soon he'll say, okay, Jen, now I'm going to send some folks and I need you to help heal like those other folks helped heal you. And that's when the real blessings begin.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jenn Bowman has been our guest. Clean and loving Jesus. Powell CDC brings you this program. They are there to help you at your worst moment in time. We're coming up on the holidays, and that is some of the worst times for people in their addictions and their depressions. If you think you've got somebody who won't make it through the holidays, for heaven's sakes, give Powell a call and get that set up. So in case something happens, you're ready to go with the kind of treatment that you can really, really use. All right, Grandma, thanks for being here.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Frank and Bob, you're going to hang around the next hour? All right, we're on for one more hour here live in Mac's World, and I certainly appreciate you being here. Until I talk to you again in exactly 8 minutes. In the next 8 minutes, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of somebody you need to forgive. Yeah, that person. The one you said you'd never forgive. And today, forgive them. Because as you forgive, you shall be forgiven. I'll see you in 8 minutes.